Getting ready for that taste test. Ooh. Hello everyone, welcome back to another New Ingredient Monday, where on certain Mondays or Tuesdays, depending on the editing schedule, I will bring in new ingredients to try at an attempt to just broaden our culinary vocabulary, okay? Because with a lot of like plant-based cooking or just like cooking from just being creative when you're cooking, a lot of the times it really depends on like, oh, like I remember like when I was at that Indian restaurant, or whenever I was like, you know, traveling in Taiwan, I remember eating something like that and that having that texture or that having that flavor, and then being like, oh, that tastes like a lot like lamb. Like, how do we make vegan lamb? And then just, you know, harvesting from that way. So anyways, today we are going to be exploring something called the long pepper, the pipali, if I'm saying it correctly. So pretty much the first time that I heard about this ingredient was in Dr. G's How Not to Age, and he was talking about how the pipali long pepper is senolytic. So senolytic's pretty much like a class of substances that help you get rid of your older senescent, the cells that like aren't really working, that are clunking up the system, that contribute to inflammation and aging and all that good stuff. So in terms of the long pepper, it's been used in Ayurvedic medicine for a really long time, comes from northern India. So in addition to its culinary uses, you see it being used for like diabetes or like respiratory or like cough issues. And I actually saw one recipe when I was researching where they just ground up the long pepper, mixed it with like a little bit of honey or a little bit of syrup into kind of these balls, and then you would just, you know, take them, and you know, if you were like very phlegmy, very congested, something like that, that would be something for that. Long peppers, if you look into it, it is from northern India, but when you look into its history, they'll say a lot about the ancient Greeks and the ancient Romans really using it and taking a liking to it, using it for medicinal purposes, or it being pretty much like the pepper, you know, 4,000 years ago back in the day. And then with the Columbian exchange and Columbus going over to the New World, him bringing back peppers that were native to the Americas, and so that being eventually like a cheaper way of spicing up your goods versus, you know, getting them from India. And I think it was taxed differently too, these pipali peppers from India, and so pretty much Europe was looking for like a newer way to spice up their meals. Like chili peppers and different like black pepper was used as opposed to these pipali long peppers. But yeah, back in the day, this one was it. So that's a little bit about the history of these long peppers. What I thought I would do today is I'll describe to you what people have been saying about how these long peppers taste, but I'm going to be doing a taste test, obviously. I thought I would test it a couple different ways. One is straight up. That's how we like to do it, so that I could just taste it for you. I have a little bit of rice here. I'm going to just put it on to the rice so that it's probably in a more natural setting of how we would eat it. And then I thought it would be interesting to kind of like cook it and then see, okay, what is the after flavor of it afterwards. So we'll be doing that. I'll be sniffing it for you. I'll be doing everything. Okay. Online, what people had said about dried pipali peppers was that it was a stronger flavor than black pepper, and it was sweet too. Somebody also described it as being slightly numbing, like Sichuan peppercorns. And then I think eating it fresh, because I think we might have these peppers at the like local South Asian market too. But when people have it fresh, I watched somebody when they were in India go to one of these long pepper farms. So they grow as long spikes, and when they're fresh, at least the one that I saw, it looked like there were little like peppercorn fruit around these spikes that they were like big, like caviar. But then some of them that I saw was kind of more like this, where it was just like spikes that were dotted, but it wasn't as big caviar wise. I've seen them red. I've seen them green. When they dry up, they turn this lovely brown color. And when people had it fresh, they said that it was vaguely tasted like black pepper and was a little bit sweet, but then had like a Sichuan, a numbing flavor afterwards. And so now, but I don't have them fresh, so I'm going to consume them obviously the way that most of us are going to be consuming it. So that'll be dried, I imagine. Of course, like it's so big, so you can either grate it in a spice grinder. You can we'll try grating it, on a grater just today. I've seen some people, like pickling, when you're putting in your pickling spices, you can just drop this whole thing into your pickling spices, and that could be, another way of using it. Okay, so first up, let's talk about smell. Smell, half of taste or more. It's interesting. So the smell, just don't waste the smell. It smells like chocolate. It smells sweet like chocolate, little bit like coffee. But yeah, it smells like a chocolate bar. And then I think, so the initial kind of sniff is, it's very like rounded. It's very soft, sweet, chocolatey. And then it kind of ends, like prunes, I guess. So there's like something fruity in there. There might be like, something acidic, just ending it off. But interesting, because that's not what I was expecting from something that's spicy. Let's try it first. Water. If I don't bite it and I just suck on it, there's no immediate flavor, but I can definitely taste like a slight bit of tingle on my tongue, but really, if I don't bite it, maybe just slightly pruny. There's no flavor if I don't bite it. All right, let's go. All right, it's also not crunchy, so I can't really bite it. It's like biting onto a twig. Hold on. It's spicy. I'm not saying anything because there's something interesting at the beginning, and I don't know if this is... I'm not sure if this is with all of them. Okay, so when you start biting into it, that initial flavor definitely, I don't know if it's because I vaguely talked about lamb before, but it was like lamby. It was something was meaty about it. Woo. Something was meaty about it. Almost like when you go to like sorry, is my mic on? Like you go to like a Chinese hot pot, and sometimes like they'll have this like meat broth. Yeah, there's something like that there. So I could definitely see for plant-based recipes, for vegan recipes, if you were using a spice like pepper, anyways, grating this in to the thing would add something savory and meaty in there. Whoa, so weird. Okay. And then the middle, so that was the beginning note. It was kind of like rounded, but like lamby, something meaty. Not too lamby, okay? Like, I know some people don't like lamb. This is so interesting. In the middle, it was spicy. It was spicy like black pepper. It's like if you took some black peppercorns, bit it, it was that kind of spice, just like normal nacho spice. Interesting. Then towards the end, and we're not there yet, towards the latter end, you have the numbing. But it's not as, it's like a different type of numbing than Sichuan peppercorn. Sichuan peppercorn is like really fruity in many ways, and then it's numbing, but this is also numbing, but like in its own way. It's still numbing. Back of my throat, sour. Sour, that's crazy. That happened as I was talking to you. It's sour. I need to drink something, hold on. Yeah, I wanted to like keep that whole thing going before I drank anything. Okay, so now, okay. Should I put it on rice first? Let's intercept it with just like a bit of papali tea. You know what's really weird now? It's not even the numbing. It's actually like the back of my throat because swallowing the pepper, it's sour. It's not like acidic or stringent. I can taste that it's sour, like, but just on the back of my throat. So I poured boiling water into this. This has been steeping for like 15 minutes. I mean, honestly, after having the pepper whole, which I think I should have left for last, now that I think about it, I cannot really, my whole tongue is kind of numb, but it is subsiding. It is not something, it lingered, but after I had some water, it kind of de-lingered. This is just very rounded. Remember, like when I was talking about it smelling like chocolate, like a sweet chocolate coffee. That's kind of how this tastes. I don't really taste it. I don't really taste the spiciness of it, which makes sense because when I was just having the pepper in my mouth and not biting it yet, it didn't really do anything that much. So yeah, I could see you putting this into a pickling mix, but I don't know if it would be that spicy. But maybe over time, the spice from the inside would come out. But this definitely adds like, yeah, like coffee notes, soft coffee vibes. Okay, now, all right, I'm gonna take this. We're gonna grate this into my rice. It's actually not that easy because it's not that dry. Oh, okay. Okay, try this. I think, hold on. I think what's most interesting really when you use this pepper, and I don't know if it's specifically, this is the Lindy pepper. And the markets that I have around me, this is a produce, this is from India, produced in India. So I don't know if it's any different from you, and we get new shipments in quite often, so it's not going to be like old. It's not been on the shelf for too long. I think that the most useful, or like the thing that you would notice most about when you put this pepper over food is that meat. There's something like carnal. There's some, is that carnal? There's something meaty. There's something like savory about this pepper. Yeah, and that works in many dishes. Like it's not that all like vegans or all vegetarians hate the taste of meat. They just hate, you know, the repercussions of meat. So I could see this really adding a nice bite to like stews, to veggie stews, to really like anything, to like tofu if you top it off with tofu. I'm a quick eater. So I think for most of us, when we're biting it, we're gonna taste that. Maybe a little bit of spiciness, but by that time you're gonna have eaten, you're gonna have swallowed it. You're not going to get that note that I got where it starts getting numbing or even sour until later on. So if you like doing that to yourself, if you like trying out different things, I would say let me know what you think. Like if you have access to these long peppers at your, South Asian grocery store, give it a try. Let me know if you get, I think most people do get the numbing, but like let me know if you get like a sour note on the back of your throat. I think that's quite interesting. So yeah, I think that's it for me for New Ingredient Monday. If you have any suggestions for me to try, either, I don't know, maybe you've tried it before, but like you're like, oh, I wonder what she would do with it, or like what she would think about it. Let me know, because I'm always looking for suggestions. I'm always looking for new fun things to try. Okay, so yeah, so I hope you all enjoyed that. I will see you all again next time. Ciao for now.